Hello guys, welcome back to the property channel. All right, so today we are going to embark on our last project for 2025, none other than the Sen. All right, so let's find out more about the Sen today. All right, so our usual disclaimer. Okay, so these are just some of the artist's impression of how the facade of the Sen basically will be. So you can see it's a rather relatively low to mid-rise sort of development. Okay. All right. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into our project information. Okay. So today our developer for the Sen is none other than Sustain Land. All right. So Sustain Land has a very long history. It has since been incepted into the market since 2006. All right. And since then they have developed more than 3,000 residential units. So I'm sure some of the developments that you see on the left of the screen are not foreign to you. So you have your Sky Everton, you have your Coastline, your One Mayor, as well as your Three Cascaded. So they have experience, developing properties, be it in the RCR or the CCR region. So they are definitely a very renowned developer. Okay, so you can be rest assured on the quality assurance itself. Okay. Okay, so let's dive into the project info. So we know we are talking about the Sen today. All right. So this is going to be 5 blocks of 10-story residential building with childcare center. So guys, you see nowadays a lot of the developments they include a childcare center. All right. So this is basically to aid the convenience of parents, young school going children, yeah, so these are the opportunities in the market where basically you have a childcare center just right at your doorstep. Okay. And of course, they have a communal landscape deck, a basement car park, all right, swimming pool, and other communal facilities. Okay. So this location itself, it is at Jalan Jurong KECHIL, okay, which is in District 21. It is a 99-year leasehold commencing from 20th of January 2025. So this is something quite interesting. I mean, if you guys have noticed 10 years of the other projects itself, usually they commence quite a couple of years even before the launch itself because it's usually from the effective date that they get the land. All right. But in this case, it's very recent. It's only in January this year. All right. So effectively, you are still getting very well 90 over years of lease, even from TOP date itself. All right. So this is on a land plot ratio of 19,200 square meters. Okay, 347 units. That's good. I mean, it's basically more than 250 units you are able to get your transactions itself. So the purpose why we always preach more than 250 units is so that you are able, to have frequent transaction. You don't want to end up in a state whereby, basically, let's say I force sell. I'm your neighbor, I force sell because I need cash urgently. Then the next moment when I am looking to sell, when you are looking to sell, you face up with a difficulty. Why? Because the bank will take the previous transaction as a mark of comparison. So then I will cause your valuation to basically drop. But when I have 347 units, I cannot have, let's say, at one time, let's just say we have just 20 units in the market. How about that? All right. I cannot have all 20 units being a forced seller, right? So majority will still be getting at a decent valuation rate. And from there, therefore, my valuation won't be so much impacted, even if one or two basically were to fall into a forced sale sort of circumstance. All right. Now we look at the number of blocks. It's basically 5 blocks, is 10 stories each. Okay. Yeah. So in terms of the car park lot itself, super fantastic, guys. It's 1-to-1 car park provision, 347 units to 347 car park lots, excluding your accessible parking lots, which there are 4, excluding motorcycle lots 1. And in terms of the childcare center itself, there are 2 car park lots and 1 motorcycle lot. All right. So in the event that perhaps the teachers at the or the staff at the childcare center, some of them drive, at least they will be taking up less of the residential provision. Okay. So yeah, and the purpose, I mean, when there is actually 1:1 provision, means potentially you are able to park more than one car, right? Because not everybody drives, so obviously you will have access in that sense itself. Okay. Now, next thing, expected TOP that will be in Q2 of 2029. Of course, guys, don't see it as Q2 of 2029. Developers, since after COVID, they like to put a longer TOP date. Usually, we will take it as probably Q2 of 2028, usually 1 year before. Okay, so this is just to protect themselves, lah, all right, as the developers. All right. Now, vacant possession will be Q2 2030. All right, and your CSC, which is your legal completion, that will be 2033 Q2. So our architects are none other than AGA Architects. Landscape, again, a very, very familiar name, I suppose by now, EcoPlan Asia. All right. Our main con is TPS Construction. M&E will be Elite Associates, and last but not least, CNS will be our KCL consultants. Okay. Okay, good. Let's just dive straight into the unit mix. We have a look. All right. So, okay. So in this development, we have our one bedders, our two bedders, our 2+study, three bedders, 3+study premium, 4+study premium. Okay. So like I've shared with you guys in the previous video, nowadays developer is really, really trying to minimize the number of one bedders there are in the developments, if not eradicate one bedder as a unit type itself, because the demand in the market is no longer for the one bedder. At the end of the day, seriously, if a one bedder max, two people are able to stay. All right, so that is not very family friendly. Okay, so that's the reason we see today in our one bedder in the Sen itself only comprises of 10 units. All right, so if you have a budget constraint, you really cannot stretch to go for two bedder, no choice. You just pray for a good ballot number, because there are only 10 units of one bedder itself. All right, so it's going to be a relatively tough fight as well. All right, now two bedders, 110 units. Okay, 2+study, 57 units. All right, so next three bedder, 90 units. 3+study, 40 units. 4+study, 40 units. So what we are able to notice is that the smaller units in this development, it comprises 177 units. All right, and next, the bigger units in the development will basically be 170 units. So quite evenly distributed between big and small. Sorry, just let us just go back. Quite evenly distributed between the bigger and the smaller units. So probably it's somewhere that is more towards the own stay centric as well. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so total we have 347 units. Okay. All right, now we go into the unit distribution plan. Okay, so we are able to see that total we have 5 blocks: 222, 224, 226, 228, and 230. All right. So each block itself basically comprises about between 4 stacks to 9 stacks. All right. So yeah, you're able to see you have two swimming pool, one over here, your more formal pool in a sense, your 50-meter lap pool, and of course you have a more like a relaxation pool over here. Okay, and then you're surrounded by your greeneries. All right, your greenery landscaping. Okay, yeah, so that's about it. Okay. Okay, so this is basically it. So this development is going to be a mid-rise development. Only 10 stories per stack. Okay, and on the rooftop will be your communal facilities. Okay, and then after that, on the second level, effectively, which is after your basement, your mezzanine itself, will be your childcare center. So yeah, like I mentioned, it's going to be very, very convenient if, let's say, you have very young school-going children. The childcare center is just at your doorstep. Okay, and of course, in block 230 itself, at the mezzanine level, there is an office space. All right, whereby it is something that you guys can look at as well. I mean, if you require office space. All right, and then after that, of course, you can have your basement car park. Okay, so yeah, below is just over here. What you see is just the various type of unit types which I shared with you earlier, and how many of each units are basically in the development. All right. Okay, so this is where the SÄN is located at. Okay, so guys, if you have been following me on this channel long enough, other than my usual SML framework, next most important thing, I always talk about exit strategy. So what is exit strategy? Guys, we need to understand, okay, the thing is that we are always we are always in the middle of HDB and landed. So apart from the exit strategy of HDB upgraders and landed right sizes, most importantly, we need to have future transformation in the area. So if there is a future GLS site right beside you, all right, and what we do know is most of the time, if not all the time, the following GLS site usually commands a higher premium. So this is the way that government basically protect private property owner prices. Or else, I mean, if GLS sites, the future ones, are selling much, much cheaper, significantly cheaper than the neighboring first plot itself, it will affect the price of the set. All right. So since it's being protected, you guys are effectively, you feel safe, you feel secure that look, I have a future GLS set coming up. Okay, I will definitely have the demand from people who cannot wait so long. I need an immediate move in place. Definitely there will be this sort of people, right? And perhaps I got budget constraint. I cannot go for something totally new, but I don't want something too shabby, too old. I have to still pump in money to renovate, right? Then that will be the sense. So this is the way that you guys basically, look at the development and determine whether it's something worth exploring. So of course, in the Jalan Jurong Kechil, Upper Bukit Timah area, it's all about nature, greenery. That's why just now you see the landscaping, there's a lot of greenery as well. So the sand is just, just further down the road, it will be your Bukit Batok Nature Park itself. All right. So yeah, it's a very, very full of greenery compound. Okay. All right. Now let's go into the location of the sand so we can actually see where it is located. All right. Now, this is the site location, okay? So basically, it is in the heart of the Bukit Timah Transformation Growth area. So like I mentioned, guys, area must have transformation for your price to go up. That's the only way you're able to see a price growth with more amenities, with more housing, with more facilities added into the area, okay? So you're able to see this is where the plot is located at. You are right smack in between Hume MRT, okay, and Beauty World MRT, one stop away from each other. All right. So it's rather convenient in that sense. Okay. And of course, like I mentioned, this location, you are seriously buying for the nature, you're buying for the serenity itself. You can see that there are many, many green patches, all right, on the site location map. So all these, you get your Rifle Range Nature Park, your Bukit Timah Nature Reserve, your Dairy Farm Nature Park, and of course, the smaller scale one, your Bukit Batok Nature Park. All right, so you're surrounded by 4 nature reserves and park. You are very, very well connected to major transport nodes like your PIE, your BKE, as well as your AYE. If you take note over here on the map, all right. So these are your major transport nodes. Okay. Now, next thing, most important, I have my within 1 kilometer to Bukit Timah Primary, and I'm within 2 kilometers to Pei Hwa Presbyterian Primary. All right, so that's a very, very good plus point. Okay. So on top of the fact that I have a childcare center right at my doorstep, I also have my Bukit Timah and Pei Hwa Primary in the vicinity. Okay, so probably effectively, few years in childcare, probably 2 or 3 years, and another 6 years in primary. So you got, 9 years, you are able to have your child's, education secure, living in the sand itself. All right. And of course, you're surrounded by array of amenities also in the vicinity. So you are able to see, I mean, there is a Bukit Timah Food Center, there are your malls, your KAP Mall, Bukit Timah Plaza, Link. All right, so there are plenty of more, right, where you are able to basically get your daily necessities, your food, your entertainment, etc. Okay. All right, so yeah, this is just a more detailed site map whereby just now the things that I basically pointed out, all your nature parks, all right? And then after that, of course, your Jalan Jurong Kechil amenities and your cafe, okay? And then you have all your amenities at Beauty World itself. Beauty World MRT is just a short 3 minutes drive away. There's going to be a future integrated transport hub, okay? Future Bukit Timah Community building. And like I mentioned, Bukit Timah Primary will be within 1 km, while Pei Hwa Presbyterian will be within 2 km of the SEN. Okay. All right, so this is just an area shot, so you guys are able to see at one glance what are your amenities in the surroundings of the SEN. Okay. All right, so this is another view, okay, that we've gotten from Google Earth. You're able to see the SEN. Okay, so now the north-facing direction, it will be towards your Bukit Batok Nature Park. So guys, I super like this kind of facing whereby basically I'm facing nature park, or I'm facing a permanent fixture that cannot be changed. Like previously, okay, I'm going to go a little far-fetched. Let's say One Marina Gardens, if you guys know, and Marina South, you guys would have noticed that one of the facing is facing towards Gardens by the Bay. So things like Gardens by the Bay, it will not be removed one month. It will be forever there. So it means that my $1 million unblocked view is forever there. So same thing, Bukit Batok Nature Park itself, it will be there to stay, right? So this is where I'm secure in terms of my $1 million view in the north facing. So I really super like the north facing if I were to stay in the stand, all right? Now, south facing is towards Beauty World MRT. Okay, so definitely this shows that the more premium facing is the north facing itself. Yeah, all right. So it depends what you guys are basically looking for, but rather or not, the sand, be it the north or south facing, is still rather unblocked to a certain extent. But of course, you need to be prepared. If let's say you're going for the south facing, of course, like I mentioned just now, there's another GLS plot, right? Right beside. So in the future, the GLS plot would come up. Of course, it would then become more pocket view. Okay. Yeah, so east facing towards Bukit Timah Nature Reserve. So yeah, fantastic. If I don't get my north facing, I'll go for the east facing lah. Okay. Okay, west facing towards the Bukit Batok and Bukit Gombak estate. Okay, so yeah, so these are facing more towards the HDB itself. Okay, so of course you have a mix of both view in the case of a west facing. You have your your HDB as well as your Bukit Batok Nature Park. All right, which will be an unparalleled view. But of course, west facing maybe not for everyone. Some people are very particular about the west sun, then it's okay lah. Then you just don't go for the west facing lor. All right, now let's talk about the connectivity. Right. Okay, so connectivity wise, the SEN, unfortunately, it is not within my 500-meter track list to Beauty World MRT. All right, so yeah, that is a slight downside in that aspect, but the bus stop is just right outside the SEN, so probably you're able to just take 4 bus stops, you'll get you to Beauty World MRT. Most importantly, at least you have a bus stop at your doorstep to get you to Beauty World lah. Okay, so I mean nowadays the weather is so hot, right? So you don't want to be sweating it out walking, I don't know, 10 minutes to Beauty World MRT. I think it'll be quite a pain as a daily activity. All right. Okay, so of course, if let's say you're driving, then through all the major transport nodes like PIE, Bukit Timah Road, Holland Road, and AYE, these are the 4 major transport nodes that you are able to get connected to town area itself. All right, so now we just look at it from a timeline perspective. Okay, so the SEN is basically a 3 minutes drive to Hume MRT, 3 minutes drive to Beauty World MRT. Like I've mentioned, of course, if let's say you're going to the MRT, you probably don't drive, so you can just grab the bus right at your development doorstep. Then 1 stop via your Cross Island line gets you to King Albert Park. 4 stops will get you to Botanic Gardens, where you have Holland Village and Buona Vista right in the vicinity. Couple of stops down. Okay, Stevens MRT, 5 stops away, that's your Orchard. 6 stops away, you get Newton MRT, that's your CBD. 7 stops away, Little India, and of course, along the Purple Line that goes straight down to Harbourfront. Okay. Now, let's talk about the schools. All right. So like I've mentioned just now, I'm going to show you guys the map. You have primary school, secondary school, even up to tertiary education in quite a vicinity as well. So your children's school are really, really secure. And of course, like I mentioned, there is just a childcare right at your doorstep. Okay, so some of the primary schools within 1 kilometer will be like Bukit Timah, Pei Hwa Presbyterian, Bukit View, Kerming, and Lianhua. All right. So these are within 1 to 2 kilometers. Okay. All right. So yeah, so this is just some of the extra information. All right. So recently MOE basically announced in one of their press releases that there's going to be some changes to the primary one registration framework. So they don't want to, so super restrict it to 1 to 2 km anymore, because they want to ensure everyone in Singapore has an open chance, to get into the surrounding primary schools, whichever they are looking at. All right. So yeah, if we were to take a look, so MOE is committed to ensuring that mainstream schools remain accessible to children from all backgrounds. Okay, so as at the Committee of Supply debate that they had in March 2021, they shared that the P1 registration framework was being reviewed so that more children can basically obtain a place near their home in phase 2C. Okay, so this is something that is very, very good. I mean, it's good for our whole nation development as a whole. So in future, right, the concern of schools will be less concerning lah in that aspect, right? Okay, so next thing, increase in reserve places for phase 2C. So of course, you guys are aware, phase 2C, basically that is the second, so-called the second category sort of phase. So now they are going to put more reserve places in phase 2C. In fact, they're going to double it. And yeah, I think it's super fantastic. I mean, to ensure that everyone gets an equal chance at good education. Okay. All right. Okay, so some of the tertiary schools, like I mentioned, there are Ngee Poly, SP, SIM, SUSS. Okay. Of course, we have our German school, Korean International School, Swiss International School, and the Perth School. So many international schools, from childhood development center, your childcare, to primary schools, to secondary schools, to tertiary, and to even international schools. So yeah, it's a very, very connected area. You are able to get everything that you need in your daily life in the vicinity. Okay. All right, now we talk about the nature and greenery. Like I mentioned just now, this project is really all about nature. I mean, I've showed you guys there are already a couple of the nature parks, nature reserves itself in the vicinity of the Sen. Okay. So, like I mentioned, there's going to be seriously unblocked view, 270 degrees of unblocked view from some of the angles that you guys have seen just now, because they are all nature reserve. All right. Now, let's just have an area view again. This is the Sen. All right. This plot. Okay, we have our Bukit Batok Nature Park, Bukit Timah Nature Reserve. All right, and some of the other nature parks further down, like Dairy Farm. All right, that you guys are able to basically enjoy. Okay. So yeah, you're surrounded by nature. Okay. So yeah, I mean, you guys want to take the healthy lifestyle route, you can cycle always to Bukit Batok Nature Park in a couple of minutes, 5 minutes, to Bukit Timah Nature Reserve in 5 minutes, Bukit Gombak slightly further, and Bukit Batok Town Park slightly further, 10 minutes. And likewise for your rail corridor and your Bukit Timah Rochor elevated green walk. Okay. All right, so yeah, these are just some of the other nature parks. Okay. Yeah, so let's just quickly talk about the transformation. Okay, so very importantly, once again, you don't want to be living in an area with no transformation, because that is where government is not pumping any money in to add in amenities, facilities, and it's going to be very, very hard to exit in the future, because all of us living in Singapore, we are really used to having everything at our doorstep. Be it which area of Singapore I'm living in, and there isn't really a so-called ulu place, in Singapore's context. Okay, so yeah, you can see Jalan Jurong Kechil is a place where government is really putting in effort to develop. So more housing choices will become available with new residential developments injected into the Jalan Jurong Kechil area. So guys, this is already very indicative. When government want to pump in more housing choices, definitely they need to add in amenities. There is no housing estate in Singapore with no amenities, honestly. All right. Now, let's take a look. All right. So this is based on Master Plan 2014 to 2019. I show you guys basically the kind of changes that has been made. So, of course, you guys know that orange color is residential. Okay. So previously in 2014 Master Plan, you are able to see, you see this plot itself. All right. it was a non-residential plot. Now in Master Plan 2019, all right, this has become a residential plot and split with the plot beside, which is the upcoming GLS that I told you guys about earlier. So yeah, they are injecting more residential into the area. So definitely over time, this area is going to be a more flourished area as well. Okay, so there will be future new road. You see, guys, like I mentioned already, government want to build residential, cannot be no amenities, cannot be no route access. So this is one very good example. They open up a road here. Okay, in the future, this is where they're going to open up a road, right? So that the GLS plots here, the developments here are not going to have so much of a traffic jam. They are going to have easier access. Okay. Okay, so next thing, of course, will be the beauty world, all right? Walking experience to nearby nature attractions and large landscaping, stuff like that, okay? This one you guys can read on your own, all right? So, yeah, some of the, there's going to be a future GLS, and of course, we all know that we have our Link at Beauty World here, 8 at BT, all right? And reserve residences, which is a future integrated transport hub, okay? Now, next thing, community building. Okay, so they are going to build community club, market, hawker center, everything, all doorstep of Beauty World MRT. Okay, so this is the integrated development. It's super fantastic. All right. Okay, so these are some of the amenities that they'll have. Okay, so yeah, is to make it more inclusive and accessible, like I mentioned. Okay, so now Holland Plain. Okay, there's another one that Holland Plain is going to also. They also recently, bidded, developers bidded for GLS there as well. All right, so this all signs of showing you how the Bukit Timah Holland area is being transformed. All right, so this is the Holland Plain itself. It's able to host 2,500 private residential units. Okay, so yeah, this was the Holland Link site I told you guys about, 1432 per square foot per plot ratio. All right, so this is the bid. So this land bid, like I mentioned, is going to become the new norm for subsequent plots. So even in your RCR, even in your OCR region, like your Bayshore and your Chuan Grove, the bids are already hitting such amounts, which in turn going to translate to 2009 to 3000 PSF sort of launch price. So this is the new trend, and I mean the new pricing expectation moving forward. Okay. Yeah, so Turf City as well. Upcoming, going to have 20,000 homes planned, all right, in the HDB, in terms of HDB. Okay. Now, this one is the one that we want to talk about, the Dungeon GLS site. So this is part of the Turf City transformation. All right. So you see once again 1410 per square foot per plot ratio, translating to 2009 to 3000 PSF when it were to launch next year. Okay, so yeah, this is the first GLS site and it's already so super hot. 9 new leaders, all right, at Turf City at this sort of pricing itself. Okay, now what is the price opportunity I am looking at for the Sen today? All right, so let's just take a look at the statistics. Okay, so the undersupply period, basically we look at the available new home stock on a 5-year and 10-year average first. Okay, so basically on a 5-year average we are looking at 17,201. All right, so 17,201 for average for 2018 to 2023. So actually it is not a lot of units, so to speak. All right. So yeah, basically, I mean, we are looking at 17,201, and then after that we have let's say our unsold stock. Unsold stock. We are looking at these of the graphs here. Let's say somewhere in 2025, probably we have around averaging around 20,000 units, let's say. So you can see that recently demand is really very high in the past few years. You are able to see the unsold stock actually plummeted. All right. So yeah. So eventually, I mean, supply and demand, real estate property is all about economics itself. End of the day, the demand is getting so high. Naturally, you will expect prices to keep on breaking new highs as well. Okay. All right, so now the interesting thing, the Sen, once again, land bid price. I mean, seriously, guys, this kind of land bid, nothing to complain lah. Okay, 841 per square foot per plot ratio. It's once again is a very very attractive sort of land bid price. All right. So yeah. So how much do y'all think the Sen is going to launch at? All right. Uh, and with this kind of land bid price, being so close to that of an EC, is it an opportunity that perhaps I should dive into? All right. Now, look at the surrounding land bid price. So dairy farm walk GRS already 1020 per square foot per plot ratio. Okay, OCR surpassed RCR. Once again, I'm going to be buying RCR at lower than OCR pricing, which is quite ridiculous lah. So it's really an opportunity. You guys, if you were to wait for the next year itself, whereby basically they launch the land plots that were bidded this year in 2025, you're going to be easily looking at 2009 to 2000 PSF on average. Okay. Yeah. So Faber Walk once again 900 PSF PPR. This one you guys refer to my Faber residence video. All right. Now, Lakeside. Okay, so Lakeside is another one. Lakeside is at Boon Lay itself. All right, 1132 per square foot per plot ratio. So it's going to go around 2004 per square foot for Lakeside. All right. Now, this Lakeside GRS itself. So, like I said many times, guys, higher condo prices in 2026 due to higher land cost. Confirm one ma. Today you're the developer, you buy the land higher, you cannot be selling me cheaper, right now. So, Lakeside GRS expected 27 XXPSF Dungeon. This is in Bukit Timah itself, crossing 3. Confirm crossing 3,000. Okay, so now let's look at this again. Why entering into a new condo at a resale price? So Verdale is something that launched in the vicinity of the Sen. It was launched 5 years ago, 2020. All right, so just take a look at the transactor itself. So at average 2008 PSF already. All right. Now, below RCR average price, very simply, once again, we look at the nearby RCR, which is 8 at BT. All right, transacted average 2749 per square foot. Okay, so 8 at BT is nearby Beauty World MRT. All right. Now, EC, like I said already, guys, EC Woodlands 782 per square foot per plot ratio. Woodlands, guys, Woodlands. Now, I tell you to buy the Sen, only $59 difference from Woodlands EC plot. You cannot tell me expensive. Seriously. Then I look at Senja Close, only $70 difference from Senja Close. How can the Sen be expensive, right? All right. So, yeah, like I mentioned just now, I already said this plot is future EC land price sort of plot. EC, not private condo. All right. So, means private condo will be far higher. Okay, so huge growth potential. Obviously, my RCR average is 2744 PSF. Definitely, I have this price gap opportunity that I'm mentioning here. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, they are going to raise the income ceiling for HDB and EC unit. All right, Kyung Tat has already mentioned that. So yeah, you can see, guys. Everything is a dominoes effect. End of the day, I raised my income ceiling for HDB and EC, means that basically, the HDB and EC itself, the people who are buying, need to be basically making more. So as a result, this is to bridge the gap so that people can upgrade to private property easier, because next time private property prices is going to increase significantly due to the land bid as well. All right. Okay. So yeah. So this is just basically the Sen, which is the show flat is actually on the actual site itself at Jalan Jurong KECHIL. Okay, so yeah, I hope you guys have really enjoyed this video on the Sen and the project breakdown, and most importantly, the market trend and analysis of the different land bids in the area. Okay, so if you guys enjoy this video, please do like, share, and subscribe. I hope that this video can go out to more people so that everyone is able to benefit from this content. Okay, and yeah, I'll see you guys at the Sand Show Flat. All right, see you.